pleasure to be in the house of the Lord. It's a double pleasure to be with my good friends. I know y'all know the history. When I met Steve, he wasn't pastoring yet, and we met at the barbershop, and I was still in the world, and he was there on me all the time. I would see a customer, I said, "Excuse me, real, I'm going to say this." He said, "Well, ain't no reason you saying excuse me, you don't say it anyway." I wasn't a big cursor, but it just, sometimes, you know, me and together, we're saying things and doing what we do. And I never forget around about 2002, 2003, he said, "Man, when you gonna get married? When you gonna marry someone?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it one day, I'm gonna do it." And he gave me this sermon by Jasper Weed. The name of the sermon was Playboy Come On. And God spoke directly to me. He was talking about how he was wasting his substance and righteous living. And he had been out in the far country. And God spoke directly to me. You know, people say, when people say, "Well, God told me this and told me that," and God uses people and he uses things, but he still speaks to us. It ain't like we see God and he talking to us like I'm looking at y'all, you know, but we know he's spirit, so we won't see him like that anyway. And after hearing that sermon, it convicted me. It convicted me so much. My wife had got pregnant with my youngest daughter, and she had a whole lot of complications. She was sick, real sick. And we got on our knees and prayed and asked God to forgive us for having this baby out of wedlock. True story. It was about 9 or 10 months later before we got married. My baby was born in March of 2004, and we got married in June 2004. And from that time last year, from 9 to 10 months until we got married, we didn't sleep together. We asked God to forgive us for having that baby out of wedlock. We didn't sleep together until we got married again. That's part of my testimony. And I just thank my friend for sharing with me that sermon. And I know he had a great love and concern for me to know that I was better than what I was displaying. But I guess, you know, when you're on a divine time now, everything has to play out the way God would have it to play out. Because a lot of times we say, I should have been doing this, or I should have been this here along in my life. But when you're in God's hands, you can't rush the process. And then it's not your time, it's on his time.
All right.
About sometime early this summer, God had given me a vision. But before God had given me the vision, right when the pandemic started, around February, March, actually, it probably was before then, but that's when they started reporting, because we saw that President Trump, and I ain't trying to be political, we saw him on tape saying he knew about this, and he didn't want the people to panic and was expressing to Bob Woodard how bad it was. But then when he gets in the press conference, he'll say, "Well, it ain't that bad, it's just going to go away or whatever." But anyway, I had told my mom and my wife what I had committed to do, started on my job, because I work days and nights. I do a month on days, a month on nights. And I had committed to studying more and praying more, which I study and pray a lot, but I want to take it up for even another notch, because we're in the pandemic, you really can't go nowhere, you can't do a whole lot. It's a life-changing situation for everybody. That's right. And too often people are so critical of people and talk about people, how you lose his mind, or how you end up doing it. Until you've experienced being in quarantine or can't move around like normal, it's life-changing. And if you ain't rooted and grounded and don't have the foundation that God is not in your life, I can see a person losing their mind or going crazy. So we have to be careful how we judge people and talk about people, because you don't know what people are dealing with or what they're going through. People don't have economic stability, people have lost jobs, people don't have food, people don't have the essential things that they normally have. Some people don't have it right now. So we need to be careful how we determine and look at people and say, well, how this happened, how that happened. Because we need to be sympathetic and empathetic enough to put ourselves in their position. But anyway, God gave me a vision. And with all the things going on in the world, with the violence, the racism and all that, God said the church is going to have to get back involved.
Yes, sir.
Because I got on this saying I like to say, the church had become an unsubmissive bride. She had become ungrateful. She had become unfaithful. She had become unattractive. He told y'all I was a bootleg preacher. But anyway, the church has the power. And watch this hymn. If God is omnipotent, he's all powerful. He sent his son manifest in the flesh. That's all power. And the church is the body of Christ. So we have the power. But the problem is we have been using the power inside of these four walls. And it's no coincidence that God has gotten us outside of these four walls, because Jesus' true ministry was out there. And the church has not been doing her part in stemming the tide on some of this violence and some of this unrest because we got comfortable in him amongst each other. So true ministry is out there. I got with every church in Moortown, and I shared this with them. I said, we have the power, and the message got to be a message of love. Not a message of condemnation, not a message of judging, not going out there on the street trying to police because we're not police, but the message got to be a message of love. And watch this here again. Jesus said, if I be lifted up, I draw all men. Jesus is the true epitome of love. And you're going to draw me, you got to lift people and spread the love. And once you go out and build the relationships and you spread the love, you ain't got to come up with no fancy slogans. Stop the violence, put the gun down, stop hating each other. If you lift Jesus up and spread the love, all that's going to stop anyway.
Yes, sir.
It might not be 100%, but the angel said when one join, we rejoice. When one in heaven, we rejoice. So you change one life and become successful. And what I did was I got with every church in Moortown, and I shared this with them, that we got to get involved. And we can't be afraid because Jesus doesn't give us a spirit of worry or fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind.
That's right.
So we got together and God just started giving me stuff. And the name of my group is COG, Children of God. And the COG, I wanted to be relatable because on the street you call them OGs. But we OGs too, but we COG, we Children of God.
Bring it out.
And our motto is from the sanctuary to the street. And our mission statement is we affect lives by making a commitment and investment and loving unconditionally. Now watch this here. God loved us so much that he invested in us. He sent his only son. His only son came and was committed all the way to the cross. And he loved us unconditionally. He said while we were yet sinners, not when we got right and got ourselves together, while we were yet sinners, he died for us. So we've been going out, we did a revival in the project, we called it Preaching in the Projects. We did a trash pickup over there, we did a prayer and praise thing one Sunday. We did a trick-or-treat giveaway. We getting ready to do something for Christmas. We implemented some programs that we want to get involved in. We got an enrichment program that we're doing with boys that we getting ready to implement. Just like the Capitals have the Capital League, the Omegas have the Lamplighters. But we want to give the young men in the neighborhood an opportunity to be a part of something, to give them an alternative to know that it's a better way that they can do things.
That's right.
We always talk about being proactive instead of being reactive, wait till something happens.
Right.
We know we got a group of young men out there, maybe in their late teens to early 20s, who are involved in some things. So we want to start with some little boys to be proactive before they get to that age, or maybe we can keep them from getting involved in those things.
Right.
So those are some of the things we're doing. We have a 10-page PowerPoint. I have my outline out there. And I got spirituality at the top. That doesn't mean it's the main focus, because before you can start talking Bible and God to people, you got to build a relationship with them. Because some people don't know Bible and God. They wouldn't understand what you're talking about. We got to be practical. In other words, you got to meet them where they at. We have on their jobs. And I know in my 10 PowerPoint is one word, but that's vague, but it doesn't just mean helping them get a job. What do you do when you have to go for an interview? What do you say? What do you wear? If you're a felon, how do you get your record expunged? We can get that off your record to help you be able to get that clear on your record. It's just things like that, police interaction, conflict resolution. It's no problem when two people get into it with each other. But here's the problem, how do you resolve it? But what we do is we go get a gun and want to kill each other. But as grown people, we have differences. But when you love, you don't want to go get no gun and hurt nobody. So it's things like that, education, voter rights, voter registration. Those are some of the areas we want to help them in. And I know we saw in this election cycle how important voting is. But as black people, we're not educated. The Bible says our people perish for lack of knowledge. We don't understand the importance of voting. And then when we don't vote and we marginalize and minimize voting, that's sad because we had our people who died and shed their blood for us to be able to have the right to vote. Right. And we seen that if we wouldn't have got out like we did, for a president to have the most votes ever to lose, so that let you know it's a referendum against him because the man that won had more votes ever. So, if he got that many votes, it was very important that we got out. So, we just looking for God to do some great things. And again, we decided, me and my group, we decided in the beginning, I told them, I said, if y'all don't mind, I pray that we want to call and we don't look for no recognition, or no publicity, and no interviews. And the reason why I said that, and everybody agreed, because a lot of times when you start something, people just want to be seen. Now, I'm not saying we won't ever be on the news and do interviews, but what we said was, we'll start doing it when we see a difference made in our community. Right now, we're not even concerned about that. A lot of people know about it, a lot of people don't, because again, we're not looking for publicity. We're doing this for God to get the glory.
Amen.
For God to get the glory, that's what it's all about.
Amen.
So I know when you do things right, decent and in order, and your heart is right, God will bless you. So y'all be in prayer for us. God gave me the vision to take care of Moortown. That's where I'm from. I don't live in Moortown no more, but I have enough love and concern to know that when it affects Moortown, or if it affects anywhere, it affects all of us. You have a lot of black men say, well, it don't affect me. I'm over here in my neighborhood. I'm comfortable. It does affect you. Because when violence hits, it don't ask if that's Deacon Eli's son or that's Pastor Marshall's son. It's just a black man. When police brutality, they don't ask no questions. They don't have no faith. They just know it's a young black man. And I share this with everybody before I sit down. Everybody's fight is not in the street, but I will share this with everybody. At this point, in the age and with the time we're in, everybody needs to be in the fight. And what I mean when I say that is, your fight might be at the school board, your fight might be on Capitol Hill, your fight might be on your job, wherever it is. They know it's time out for bench members. Everybody needs to be in the fight. Change going to be made, especially the church. I'm talking about the believers. If you really want to see a change made and a difference made, if the believers would get back involved and take up their role and be submissive to the will and word of God, we would see a true difference being made. Thank you, Pastor Marshall. We don't turn down nobody. I know my group is mainly a Moortown men, but we have men outside of Moortown. Because I know one thing, you can't do this by yourself. You don't turn down no help. And when God sends somebody, no matter where they're from, if they hard right and they willing, because he wants the willing heart, it'll be successful. So thank y'all again. If anybody want to be a part of it, give me the information, or I can get you a part of it and let you know when we need it, whatever we're going to be doing next. But we welcome the help, because we had 7 targeted areas that we did, and I used the number 7 because in the Bible it symbolizes completion and perfection. But right now, I don't have the manpower to go to 7 different areas. But what my original thinking was, we have enough men, and when we meet on our Saturday to go out and evangelize, we would get together like we always do. We would pray, and then we would go out to our 7 areas. We allowed ourselves an hour, and we would minister to people, and then we would come back together and debrief. But what we voted on a week ago was, since we don't have the manpower, we would concentrate on one place at a time. And where we at right now, we're in Clear Rise and Illinois Project. And I love sports, y'all. And after we get through praying, before we go out, we huddle up. And we got on this saying, 10 toes down, boots on the ground, 1, 2, 3, Jesus. And then we go out. So I love sports, and that's just one of the things I implemented. Men like the things to be fun. You got to make things fun. You know, it's dangerous out there. Some of my friends be saying, man, I don't see how y'all go out there, man. It's too dangerous out there. But I tell them all the time, you don't have to go out there because eventually it'll come to you. And again, if we talk about being proactive, if we don't go out there and make a difference, it may not come to us, but we may stop it from going to somebody else. And that's the way we got to think, because we got to be like God. He's inclusive. And in the body of believers, we need to be, Pastor Mark said, to be our brother's keeper. So that's an area of our life. So we don't worry about the danger of it, because we know in the church, we can go back when 9 parishioners were killed in Virginia. So we know you're not safe nowhere. And I say that you are safe because you're in God's arms, but it can happen anywhere. But my point is that we need to get busy trying to make a difference and investing in these young men and giving them something. There's some underlying issues. You know, I don't condone violence. I don't condone some of the things they do. But if we're supposed to be honest, we know there's some underlying issues in the black community that is not self-hate, because we really ain't like that. We don't have the same education. We don't have the same economics. We don't have the same resources that they have in other areas. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So we got to be mindful of all that and not be so judgmental and condemning when we go in. It's a way you have to be able to approach them, and you have to show their love. I said a story before I said, I say Pastor Marshall all the time, we'd be in the barbershop, and the young gang members coming in, the bad acting, and Steve would be talking to them any kind of way, and they just be receptive and laughing. I said, man, you can't talk to that man like that, man, he can shot you. He said, well, I got a gun too. But anyway, it's because he had a relationship with them, though. It's because we have a relationship with them. And that's what makes the difference, because they know where you're coming from. And it's just like us. We know we have a relationship with people in here, and we know they have your best interest at heart. Once you build a relationship and you know a person truly loves you and have your best interest at heart, you'll be willing to work with them. It's not that big of an issue. So thank y'all again and again. We welcome the help. we really need manpower. That's one of our main focuses, is getting this manpower. But it's been a blessing, and I thank God that I committed myself to some extra study and prayer. God has been revealing some things to me. I've been praying a new prayer. I ask God to let my mind think things it's never thought, let my heart feel things it's never felt, let my eyes see things it's never seen, let my ears hear things it's never heard, let my feet take me places I've never been, and let me sit in seats I've never sat in. And God has been doing that. He's been revealing a lot of these things to me. And I think it's going to be great. It's going to even get better. Not because of us, but because of Him. Thank y'all so much. Thank you.